Warning. Warning. This is not a test. This is not a test.
Simulators to your screens. This is the pinnacle of iRacing competition. Welcome to the Full-Length Cup Challenge. Witness the dedication, the strategy, the sheer speed. The show starts now.
Hello everybody and welcome to tonight's coverage of the FLCC, the Full-Length Cup Challenge, as we count down to green from the virtual streets of Chicago. Tonight, it's a road course race from Chicago, Illinois, as the top drivers look to battle it out here on Maconi Entertainment. Maconi Entertainment is here to bring you action from all types of racing, including the Goat Walker Racing Series, the Full-Length Cup Challenge, and Fast Fridays. No matter what you are racing, we can bring the action to life. My name's Justin Prince. Alongside me in the booth for tonight's festivities is Alice Davison, with DJ Lyon working the controls as a producer using cameras provided by Whiplash SimCams. Tonight, Alice, we go left and right, but with a twist, in the heart of Chicago. It's expected to be a wild night, lots of potential for attrition, and a lot that can happen overall.
Yep, thanks for having me. We saw in the Xfinity race yesterday that the racing can be quite pure, but as soon as one person puts a foot wrong, there is a concrete wall ready to take them away. And I feel like when the aggression starts to ramp up late in this race, things are going to get into bedlam. It's a question of, do you have a car that's able to survive that long in the race to get there? And what happens when you do? It doesn't necessarily matter if you're safe in the lead, because that one bad bit of braking could take you out of contention entirely.
So far, we've seen 11 different drivers lock their way in via victories, by the way. Right now, it's the lady who leads the way. There is a strong contender to be a three-time winner, though, tonight. Andrew Dyson's been the road course reigner and has been the talk of the series coming into tonight in terms of difficulty to beat. Remember, we're also in the midst of the in-season tournament as well. We have a lot of interesting bracket matchups as a result of a lot of attrition at Atlanta, also known now as Echo Park. Things look like this. That includes Heitman currently still the top seed in the tournament. Others like Komacheski moving forward, DeCiani advanced, Robert Miller advanced. Some of the upsets were around drivers like Alex Princeton moving on, as well as Jeremy Miller for their part of the bracket. For the most part, the upper seeds still got the advancement. But these drivers are getting ready for a 75-lapper here in this one, Alice. This is going to be a long one, and remember, there are some potential for caution flags outside of just the stages.
Yep, in terms of overall strategy, car can maybe do 30-something laps on fuel, maybe towards 40, but I imagine with the way the race is broken up, you'll be coming in for every stage caution at least, take some tyres, take some fuel, and be there towards the end. Potential to maybe flip the stage, as always, exists on road courses, but I'm potentially thinking stay out and try and conserve your tyres over the run. We saw later in the run in the Xfinity Series where the tyres were really getting burned away. With the higher horsepower in these cars, I think these rears are really going to be a problem later in the runs.
With that in mind, these drivers already took part in qualifying throughout the day and throughout the previous one as well to be able to set this grid here from Chicago. So as the field now populates, we look to see how they start tonight in the FLCC. As expected, Andrew Dyson is your pole sitter. Alex Murray starts off in second tonight. He was within about a mile an hour of that top time on average. Robert Miller and Neil Pearson are in the top four this evening. And in the fifth position is going to be Ryan Jones. Paul Hill starts off in the sixth spot. Seventh goes to Jonathan Delaney with Clayton Hoffman down in eighth. Ninth spot goes to Cameron Stone. Different look this evening. And Lucas Hoytsma rounds out the top 10 hours.
Further in the field, Matt DeCarney and Benefiel share the sixth row. Behind them line up Nicholas Vroman and Tommy Gossett. Nolan Hodgson starts in 15th place. He'll have Dylan Kritz for company. And Jonathan Galota and Evan Mensard start in the 9th row. P19 sees Derek Heitman have Chad Sanner in 20th for company.
Sean O'Brien Jr. starts 21st tonight. Alex Coffey makes a start this season in the FLCC. Start 22nd. Matthew Law in 23rd. Stephen Williams rounds out the top 24. Hunter Trudeau and Tanner Marty will start in towards the back of the field with Tyler Hunter and Brandon Hastings in that spot. Alex Princeton, we've talked about in the bracket, will start 29th, and Thomas Komacheski, your top 30 hours.
And Ryan Strick will start 31st alongside William Owens. Further back, Billy Brickley and Dave Hoytsma starts 34th. Larry McDonald and Stoney Benfield 35th, 36th respectively. Behind them, Daniel Wallen and Jacob Simpson. Bobby Anderson starts 39th, and Ralph A. Hutchinson has shotgun on the field in 40th.
That's what talked about with the running over here tonight, here from Chicago, as we get set to go racing. Once again, taking a look at your conditions here. In real life, not expecting too much rain now in the forecast, but the sun is 103 degrees today in terms of the track temp. The air temperature right now at a cooler 74. So with that in mind, what are your keys to victory here in this one, Alice?
Don't hit the wall. It is that simple in terms of just saying it, but we've seen many drivers already fall foul of it, and with these bigger cars, with the bigger engines, you just need to keep it tidy, keep it clean, and avoid chaos at all costs. The race will come to you if you let it, but one wrong foot and you are saying hi to a tyre barrier or a concrete wall, and you are going straight out of contention of this race.
Field now getting ready to double up here, it looks like, by the fountain here. Do you have a pick that stands out to you tonight?
Well, based on the way it was going in the previous race, I have to look at that 97 Hoytsma. Had a lot of power towards the end of the run, did have a few issues with tyre wear and damage that took him out of contention for winning the race, but definitely managed to carve through the field. Starting from 10th, I believe he could do it again, but it's going to be a bit more of a challenge this time around, I think.
Happy with us here from Chicago. The field all set to go here in Illinois. The Windy City, ready to let things roar. It's Dyson, it's Murray on the front row. Green flag is out, we're underway from the Windy City.
Not expecting too much crazy going on here in the first corner. Everyone should be minding their P's and Q's. This is not the time when you need to make aggressive moves. Murray, oh, car sideways, 92 goes around at the back. cam node. Oh, that is a disaster early on. Yes, Hoffman, thank you. That's like just not what you wanted to do that early on. You have so much of the race. Now Hoffman's fallen all the way down the order. It has to go through all of these cars. We'll get a caution lap 20 to catch them back up. That is so many cars you need to get through to get back to the front of the field.
Things now settle out for the rest of the field as they start to make their way down the straightaways. A lot of hard braking zones here at Chicago, especially with the 90-degree corners. These areas, like right here, easy for stack-ups with the tire barriers. No issues off the jump this time.
Need to mind the bumps on the surface as well. These are roads, as in pedestrian roads, not necessarily racing tarmac, so you can see how bumpy this surface is. It makes it very hard to get your braking pressure right. And if you misjudge it, you're either locking a front and careening off into the barrier, or you're locking a rear, getting looped around entirely, and neither's really great into any section of this track, so a lot of caution needs to be shown, especially into the harder braking zones. Entry to turn 6 and turn 11 come to mind.
First lap goes the way of Dyson, and look at the margin, already more than a second. This is somewhere where we normally don't see Pearson, mind you, up in the running order. This is the type of race where a lot of different competitors can showcase a lot of different things, because this road course mindset is a lot more different compared to a mile-and-a-half of course.
Right now, though, I think everyone should be in preservation modes. This is probably good running if you're in the top 10. Just stay single file, stay nice and clean. You don't want to push your luck right now. You know the caution's coming in 18 laps. Dyson can pull a minute up the road, and frankly, it won't matter as we cut Mensah, who's come to the pit lane. Presumably got caught up in the early wreck. Seems to be having a nice time relaxing, but has gone to the back of the field after that. Presumably just tags a car that's going around Hoffman, obviously spun in that first corner, and if you just... That's the other problem as well, if you're in a pack that's trying to get aggressive, if a car spins in front of you, sometimes you just don't have the reaction time to get out of the way fully, and at that point, you are just going to have to... You're going to smash a car and presumably take some quite bad damage as well, as looks like that 73 is going to go a lap down here.
Already some attrition building up for this field, remember. Race to about lap 20 in this pack. There are different factors to think about when it comes to the caution flags here as we take a look at Heitman, one seat in the bracket. When it comes to the caution projections, 70% chance of a caution happening between laps 1 to 45, 70% chance of it happening 46 to 70. There's a 50% chance we have 2 random cautions, a 40% chance for 1, 10% chance it's just the stages here. So it's going to make things a little bit more tricky if we get a randomized caution here.
But again, you know the static ones are coming out, as you can see Heitman trying to get defensive here. Couldn't quite get past Cameron Stone. Now it's Nolan Hodgson trying to pick away at the inside, trying to find a way through. I think that's actually going to invite Alex Coffey in the 54 in the back of your shot there to have a look as well. It's one thing that you can maybe stay single file as long as the car in front of you is keeping reasonable pace, but when you start getting checked up, that brings the cars behind you into the conversation as well. That's when things get really scary. You need to look in both directions at the same time, and suddenly you're not looking at your brake markers, and that's when disaster seems to strike.
So easy to have contact here, especially with the need to use the chrome horn, it seems. How tough it is to pass here. Heitman, just no place to go in the Fortis machine. Again, near contact with the back end of Stone, who's already picked up damage. Fastest lap of the race, Andrew Dyson so far. Was Roman trying to pick up spots, is battling for 7th.
It's not surprising to see Dyson really just pull away and get that massive lead and the fastest lap going. You have a fast car in qualifying, you probably have a fast one in race trim as well, and there's clean air for the 41. It means you don't need to worry about what the car in front of you is doing. You can just pull away. If you're stuck in a little bit of traffic, like we see further back here, the 95, Roman stuck behind 2 cars, you have to worry about where they're braking markers as well, as try not to outbrake them too much if you're staying directly behind them, because that's when you end up going bumper to bumper. You might get away with it, but you don't really want to annoy the person you're racing with this early on. You have to stay on track with them for another 70 laps. you don't want them on your bad side, as we do see. Basically, 95 get let through there by the 6 Delaney, and I think that's a fair thing to do. If you think the cars behind you is going to put up a threat, you can just let them through as well and preserve your own car in the process.
Now, know that Roman uses a base for the Renko side of things, and we know, based on the week, if you are Sean Conklin, well, Sean Conklin's been apparently bonking the entire field whenever he's been racing by 3-4 seconds to the pace that even the competitors here tonight have done. So what we're saying is the car that Dyson is also using, which follows that same base, has the pace to run away with the right hands driving it. And that's part of the set dependency that you have at a road course. You can be a great driver, but you also have to have a good car to be able to handle all that aggression you need to be able to push forward here.
And to counteract that, just because you have a good setup, it doesn't necessarily make you a fast race car driver. It is very easy to not get the full performance out of the car. As that is a meatball for 99 of Joseph Giuliota. Presumably he's got a bit too far into the concrete at some point on the track. That doesn't look like a healthy car to me, and I could see why race control giving that a meatball. That front right is not looking too healthy.
And locked it up and into the wall.
See, that's the thing. If you're not getting the braking performance out of it, you're going to be slow. If you're trying to outbrake yourself, you're just going to send yourself into the tyres and send yourself into the pit lane, which like Giuliota is going to have to do now.
So hard hit to the barrier, and now that's going to see him on the tow truck. But no cautions for cars stopped, obviously, tonight. Just the randomized cautions. Still, though, some of the others looking to do well, include here in the mid-pack. Drill's already bounced off a couple different walls. Right now trying to hold back Stephen Williams. Remember, the teammate to him is running in third position, so various differences in the field on where some of the team drivers are running at, as you would expect here, Alice. But so far, it's more so racing the track than it is about racing where you are in a race like this.
Yeah, you just need to make sure you're keeping control of things. Even if you think you can get past the car in front, there are very few good passing opportunities around here. If you're going to ride someone's rear bumper, you have to do it so carefully just to not end up being a pinball. That is a... I would say it was a near miss there. As we cut away just the nick of time, but yeah, just make sure you're keeping the car pointed forwards, make sure you're giving the space where it's needed, and hopefully the race will come to you towards the end. But like, this is lap 6 of 75, you don't need to be doing anything too crazy right now. You can afford to get positions. Jones has come through, but looks like we should be fine here. Ryan Jones in the replay here in the 11 might have a little bit of contact coming up. Gets out of the way of a spinning... I did not get out of the way of the spinning 26, and gets quite a hard tag, and that would explain why he's off pace a little bit.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot more damage now to them. And yeah, how about broken axle for the damage? Looks like Ryan Jones going to have to go down pit road with that contact to the wall. That's how easy it is to break a tie rod here. That happened in Real Life Cup qualifying today with Corey Heim. Caused them to be the first DNQ at a non-race at Daytona since 2018. So there is that potential for a lot of these cars to, one bad hit, your race can be toast and done right there.
Doing a good job of pulling that car around. I think it's not too damaged, but obviously he's lost a ton of time trying to haul the car around on track. And then presumably that's not going to be a short repair either. And once you go 2 laps down, especially around a road course, you are probably not getting them back. So definitely day over there for the 11, as the Hutchison comes in as well. Yep, go back to night 2 of, I believe that's Hoffman. Yeah, Hoffman's up to 22nd now after that early spin going on. So not too bad recovery, but still 20-something positions in front of him. Long day ahead still for the night 2, and caution will help with that. We'll stack the cars back up. You can maybe get a few on a restart, but you have to be able to outrun them as well. I don't know if the pace is there right now.
Ralph Hutchinson, interestingly, came in for a pit stop, and that looked to be scheduled. An interesting choice. He had been talking about connection issues prior to the race tonight. but elects to come down. 10-second service there to be able to get some fuel in it. So maybe trying something different here for the later bit with the gamble of potential cautions.
Theoretically as well, that would be well within a one-stopper from here if you're willing to just stop it around stage 2 caution, so could definitely make it. It's a weird time to take the pit stop overall strategy-wise, but definitely not out of the realm of possibility. You need to see how that one shakes out, but obviously will be down the order in terms of track position for now. Tyres are going to be a bit of an issue though towards the end of this race, because if they are overheating the rears, that's going to really put a dent in that plan, I think.
Yeah, and the big thing to remember is it's not like it was last year where you get away with no tires based on the way the build worked. With the way these cars are going to function, there goes Ryan Strunk into the wall on a spin. For a lot of these competitors, these tires will toast. And for example, that 77's tires have just lost 10% from that slide.
And you lose a ton of track time trying to get the car spun around. So we see what happens here. I think it's going to be a fairly easy case of getting a bit too much on the throttle at the bad point in the corner. Come through turn 2, tries to get the car turned, tries to get on the throttle to get pulled away and just can't quite complete the turn. And ends up in the wall because of it. Not too hard contact, should be able to keep going, but you lose a ton of time, you lose a few bits of track position at this stage of the race, and you have to feel quite bad about yourself because now you've essentially done all that to yourself.
Another driver's had an issue. Larry McDonald just pulled down pit road. So the 80 machine, we can tell you the reason being, he just ran to a tire barrier head on and demolished the front clip of his race car. Looking back at one of the air battles, Komacheski already making it past this lap. Nearly adding some damage with it in what is normally his Dale Jr. paint scheme throwbacks.
It's a very nice looking car and a very nice looking pass made, and that obviously gives the 88 the clean air and able to run away, try and get some positions going. Currently on the ball for the points. Ooh!
Yeah, that was a bit of a slide in the backdrop. Remember, 77 points down. That's to Cam Stone. He needs to start outscoring the 57. If anything, he might need a race win. And tonight, he might be in position to lose a little bit of ground. Cam Stone is running in the teens on average pace.
Stone was looking good yesterday as well. Road course runners tend to run well in whatever they are in, so I am convinced Stone has the pace, but I will also say Stone also didn't finish that race in great position after a bit of contact, so might struggle overall. There's still hope for a lot of these drivers. The concrete will come for everyone at some point if you don't respect it. But as it stands on raw pace alone, yeah, that 88's not going to be doing too well in the points department tonight.
Good job by Murray so far. I know he put down the wick to be able to get a lot of his team members to put in work for this race this weekend. So far, speed's been there for the Precision Speed Incorporated car. You're able to keep up in front. Right now, just try to stay lockstep through the traffic as Pearson, last time by, was 3/10 off the pace to the 7.
You can see how close they're going to get now with a lap car, the 19 involved. There's a potential to make a move if you can offset this properly, but it's going to be very hard selling because now what S7's done is compromised the entrance, but unfortunately, because it's been compromised, Pearson and now Murray should be able to peel off into the distance here, and Murray should be safe for the time being. Obviously, while this is happening, Dyson's just pulled off now a 5-second lead. Has to be feeling very comfortable in this early running, but a lot of time still left in this race. A lot of time to make a few adjustments to the car, maybe tune it in a little bit. It's only half a second lap you need to find to bring that gap into contention, and maybe some lap traffic might be able to help that as well. So as you can see, the 41 Dyson caught in a bit of a gaggle of cars here.
Clean shaven tonight. We've seen him with a beard for parts of the season. Able to get by the traffic, no issue. Seems to be laser focused on his marks. He is so difficult to stop at a road course. it seems like every time we've been on a road course this season, he's been lightning quick for Dirty South Racing, and we have a decent amount of them in the next stretch of races too.
Sonoma, the immediate follow-up to this race, is always a terrifying track where you have a little bit more track limits to play with compared to here, but still very technically demanding tracks. I'm expecting Dyson to run there as well. But for now, has to be entirely focused on the track he's on, because if you mess up one corner, you don't have the limits of a whole bunch of dirty grass to drive into. You're driving to a solid concrete barrier, and we've seen a few drivers suffer that fate already. You can't afford to be one of them.
Tommy Gossett right now, so it's the top 5, by the way. Just trying to get through the traffic. That's a little close call. A little bit of a nervous moment with Princeton there, as Princeton left the door open just a skosh.
It's the problem of fast driver behind slower driver. Even if you do have the blue flag, sometimes you're not expecting the car to be that much faster than you under the braking zone. You're taking your normal line, and all of a sudden there's a car on your inside and you have to adjust the line. Both drivers do manage to get through just about unscathed, but 19 needs to be a little more careful about the braking entry, I think, if he's going to leave the gap. Then again, you don't expect to be sent from that far back by Tommy Gossett. It's a good way of making up time to try and deal with lap cars a bit faster. Typical endurance thing is just to try and send the car wherever possible through the slower cars. You do sometimes have to give as well, just to make sure you don't end up taking yourself out of the equation as well.
Old school throwback here tonight, Dylan Kritz. Let's look more to what we see for Ernie Irvin for the back of the day. And there's a lot of chatter on the radio all of a sudden. Something happening as we just had a stack up and a warning to the 8 car, Ralph Hutchinson, because Hutchinson spun out in front of Murray and caused a massive stack up. That's why some of the cars now have damage, and drivers like Murray went the wrong way as at least 5-7 cars crashed. Let's take a look at this.
Through turn 6, the normal action zone. Simpson, that 2 car on the inside seems to be fine as, oh, that is a sideways car, and unfortunately, oh, yeah. You can't get a handle on the car 7. Try to get it in reverse. I'm not sure. I feel like waiting might have been the more pertinent move there, because you're not really sure what a car in reverse is trying to do at any moment in time, but does manage to get the car around. And outside of that initial hit, the follow-ups were pretty low speed, so it shouldn't be too bad overall. But yeah, you could see the Hutchinson just getting a little bit too big, tags the front, and at that point that car's just a brick in the middle of the road and nowhere for anyone following to really go. You're just trying to get through a funnel as fast as possible, and everyone pushing just a little bit too hard, catches up to it, and massive hits for everyone else behind.
Ralph Hutchinson has parked it for the night as a result of that incident. That now puts Pearson and Vroman second and third. Vrum's gone from 13th to 3rd, by the way, the course of this run. Murray still at least able to hold on to 4th, but we'll have to potentially get some damage repair done with that front clip. Already closing in on the final stretch for stage 1. So far, outside of that, things have been pretty calm. Well, as I said, outside of that one incident.
Relatively calm. Had a few drivers miss their marks already, but oh, when you say that, I think we might have a bit of a scrap further back in the field. As this is 57? No, the 15 of Robert Miller getting involved, Cameron Stone. Everyone gets through turn 1 okay. We're going to see a late send into the actual turn 1, that's the last corner. There's just a little stack up in front, and the 19 goes around, and there's just nowhere for the following cars to go. Same incident again. Just a bit wider corner, so the contact not too bad, but certainly going to be some unhappy drivers on the radio, you'd have to say. So you can see the damage to the front right there of the 15. It looks drivable for now. Obviously, the handling isn't going to be great on that car, but you do have the knowledge that the caution is guaranteed to come in 5 laps time, end of lap 20. And because it's a road course, you can sit in the pit lane for a long while. Just sit there, take repairs while the pace car trundles around the track. So you'll be able to get a chunk of it done. You just have to sit with what you've got for now, as the car got loose in the background there.
Big crash. Democrats Derek Heitman just backed up at a Robert Miller.
Dear.
Miller is definitely lighting up now. That is even more damage for the 15.
I imagine this is just a case of maybe a slow driver catching out a few drivers in front. Someone's going to maybe tag the ball, maybe get it loose, and everyone's going to go panic stage. No, it's going to be a dive attempt. It's going to go all right.
Caution.
Yeah.
And they all stack up. Oh, that was not smart.
Can't be doing that on a live track. Oh, well, speaking of the cars that need damage repairs, that's going to be quite convenient. But yeah, Dylan Critz just can't be backing up on a track like that. That's disastrous. If you go back to the 98s.
Broken axle. Meatball flag. And this is the random caution that we're waiting for to see. Williams surprisingly still trying to keep going, I think, with the caution, just trying to get to the pacing line and then pit road.
Yeah, you've got an opportunity here to just close that gap. Take as long as you can on the pit lane before you go a lap down. You can potentially recover another one if you do go one down, just take a wave round or get a lucky dog. You might be able to get back on that lead, but just need to make sure you've got as much time as possible to take those repairs if that car is as bad as it is right now. And obviously with Meatball, you definitely have to come down at some point. So now this is the fun part, because now Dyson has a choice to make. Do you pit now, or do you want to stay out, take that stage win? Because this is about where you'd want to pit if you wanted to flip this stage and get to the next one safely. So the call is basically in the hands of the 41 as to what happens here. Everyone else is going to have to decide their own fates in terms of this. But I think you're going to give up a lot of track position if you do come down pit road right now.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation. And now we're going to see how these drivers select the strategy. Mind you, pardon me, Andrew Dyson, Neil Pearson, Nicholas Roman, Alex Murray, Tommy Gossett are your current top 5 on track, with Hoytsma, Delaney, DeCiani, Benefiel, Hudson. Top 10 as they sort.
And of course you've got an entire lap at pace speed to think about this, so this is all going through your mind. You probably have a discussion with your crew chief, with your spotter, whoever you've got in your call, just trying to figure out what the play is here. And you've just got to sit there and wait and go at this incredibly low speed. And you have to wheel this car around this track as well. You can't like take a breather as much as you might want to. This track will still catch you out just by the nature of the bumps around here. Even going at this relatively slow speed, it's still a lot faster than you might want to take these roads at normally. So you need to stay alert, you need to consider what's happening, and you need to just constantly put yourself under more and more stress, even under these cautions, than you'd think. But pit window's coming up now, and we'll see who does what here, and who wants the stage points, and who wants the track position for the start of the second stage.
Here we go, and the first one is Anderson, who is a lap down. Murray, Gossett, Lucas Hoytsma, Delaney, Benefiel, Miller. So much of the field saying may as well come down. Some people are saying they want the points and will have to come down next time.
I think Sean O'Brien's made a ton of positions there. Came from 20-something, I believe, up into 6th place as it stands currently. Matthew Long and Adam Benefiel also staying out, taking that position from the track. Seal leads the race off pit road. If the cars to follow through. So a car just trundles all the way to safety. Murray probably won't be taking that then, as he's staying in there for what seems like a long while, trying to take repairs to the car, like I said earlier, so that would be why that car's suffering so much. Anna Benefield pitted, excuse me, comes out in 8th, wins the race off pit road. No, he didn't actually pit. Went through pit road, didn't actually stop, according to my notes. Alex Coffey wins the technical race off pit road then, I guess, with Lucas Hoytsma, Tyler Hunter, Brendan Hastings, Clayton Kaufman, the following cars. Everyone else still in for repairs.
Some of the drivers are reporting significant pit issues.
73 just got a meatball, if I saw that correctly.
Connection flag, yes. So they've been having tech issues and were sent to pit road. So the 73 of Mesnard to pit road. 100 Cruel elected to take an EOL because they felt like they were too far to the right on the pit entry. That is a rule as well. So some drivers having as much as 3 minutes of damage pick up here. A lot of damage that is going to take multiple cautions for some of those drivers and those stack ups to be able to fix here.
But good news with this random caution is, though, you're guaranteed one in probably 2 racing laps. And you can do this whole situation again. Come in, take some repairs, take off as much of the edge off your car as you can. The damage shouldn't be critical at this point if you've not got too many meatballs flying around, which I haven't seen. So your car might be fine in the long run, and you know you're going to get the time to repair it as well, especially with the stage 2 caution coming 25 laps after we take stage 2 green. The driver's opting to take that second round of pits.
Yep, Benefield does come down.
Yet, I think just maybe had an issue with not being able to get into the car as we go on board Nolan Hodgson, who is on board the car in VR. Probably this is the one situation where I think I would really want VR, because you are in a very tight quarter situation. You need to be aware of if there is a car on your inside, outside, wherever, exactly where they are, so you know how much space you have through the corner, especially towards exit. If you're pulling forward, so you need to have visual of where that car is alongside you to know when you can close off that gap.
Yeah, we'll see. This goes as hearing there may be a review request for some pit exits. How pit road is here. Robert Miller just got a black flag. Not sure where that just came from. I believe he just had a contact, yes he did, with William Owens under caution.
Why? Okay. I'm just going to accept this as facts and move on, because if I think about it, I'm going to be annoyed.
Well, here is the stack up.
Okay. That is, we are pushing hard for no real reason under caution. Like, I know you want to catch the back of the pace car, but it's still like, this is the middle of the track. We're coming into turn 6 here. We have plenty of time to catch the car. You don't need to push that hard to risk contact like that. This is insane.
Penalties, too many stalls out. Tommy Gossett and Jonathan Delaney just got EOL penalties. Too many pit boxes. Bobby Anderson also is in that mixture too. So 3 different penalties coming out right before we double up.
And we are doubled up here, coming through the horseshoe towards the last 2 corners. You need to get out of the way quick if you're trying to get to the end of the line here, but this is definitely where things are going to start to heat up. This is going to be a very short run to the next caution, so you know even if you do take a few tags, you can maybe get it repaired, but right now there's a lot of track position available to you if you're willing to take it, and I think some of these drivers might be thinking they can maybe advance a few positions out of nowhere here. See how aggressive our run is. And this should be a 2-lap run to the green-white checkered.
Lots of cars still trying to catch up in the field, all while the front runners come up to the start zone. Green flag is out. Dyson wants the points. Trying to get a 1-2 in the stage for Dirty South. There goes Roman, elects not to go and send it. They line back on up. Hodgson back there. DeCiani trying to battle for fourth.
Leaders 1, 2, 3, they're exactly what they wanted. They're staying out for the points. They just want to make sure they're able to drive from the distance and take as many as they can. The rest of the field looks like it's filtering single file, no bridge contact for now, so everyone should be pretty okay with this running. Obviously this order is going to shuffle itself again with the second round of pit stops coming shortly, so not too much in the way of rushing coming up through the first few corners, but here comes the classic dive bomb zone of turn 6.
And doesn't look like anyone's really lined up for a dive bomb per se. Matthew Lawn was amongst the drivers who attempted to flip the stage early. Ended up getting the benefit of the caution flag. He's in this battle pack right now, up in 6th, +9 from his starting spot as a result of that strategy for the 28.
Still going to get a few points here, though. Has managed to pick off one of the drivers that stayed out so far, so going to be pretty happy with that one. And will take presumably the lead of the race when this caution comes. Alex Coffey leads them off the hill. In this battle for 9th place, Clayton Hoffman, Brandon Hastings, Dylan Critz chasing, all trying to find their way through, trying to find a few more positions here before this yellow comes out. Final lap of the stage now. Andrew Dyson still leads Pearson and Vroman.
1 lap to go in stage 1.
Oh, hold on to it.
Yeah, some people having some sketchy moments there. That's what Hoytsma. You have Coffey at the center focus too. Some drivers getting a little bit battly, trying to hold on to the stage points. Hoffman is in the top 10 to round it out currently.
Maybe a bit of wall there for that 65. Looks like, you know, Brian Jr. is keeping that car point forwards though, but has a lot of cars chasing, and if they're going to make a move, it's going to probably be here. Looks like they may be a bit too far away to try anything though, and should just be able to get it nice and smooth on the brakes, pitch it in nicely, and defend that position very nicely. That should be 7th place for O'Brien, as long as nothing goes too wrong here in this final section. They'll stack behind him, but there's no way through here. Like, you have to run single file till maybe the final corner. You can send something if you're feeling brave, but I imagine these drivers want to see out the rest of this race, so we'll probably drop the issue unless there's a real window opened.
Andrew Dyson's coming to the final corner for the stage. Some battling back here. Oh, big checkup. Right now trying to hold on to it is O'Brien Jr. Dyson does get stage 1. O'Brien holds off the pack in the battle for about 8th. Alex Coffey gets the last spot for stage point. So it's Dyson, Pearson, Roman, DeCiani, Hodgson, Lawn, Lucas Hoytsma, O'Brien, Hoffman, Coffey, who gets stage points. Your thoughts, Alice, after stage 1?
Commentators curse. You know, as soon as I say O'Brien's probably not going to lose positions until the door opens, has presumably a horrible exit out of turn 10 in towards 11, and Hoytsma just has no chill, sends it straight at the inside and takes that position straight away. But Andrew Dyson, what more is there to say really? He's a perfect led stage, started in P1, finished in P1. It's definitely going to fall down the order here, but Andrew Dyson definitely looking like a strong contender early on.
Looking very smooth with that motion too, and this situation will see him starting back around at the end of the teens, if not the 20s.
Bear in mind, some of the drivers that did pit last time will probably pit again just to take repairs, so I'm not sure it's going to be too bad for Dyson, but definitely not the situation you want to find yourself in, because I imagine everyone who's leading the pack that's already pitted is going to stay out at this point. Definitely a mixed bag for Andrew Dyson, but still, stage win's a stage win. You'll take the points where you can get them.
Yeah, needs playoff points. Be able to help himself later on in the season. He's already got the wins for the lock-in, but the more playoff points you can pick up, the more helpful it is in case of situations like that, because Dyson's been around a top 10 driver on the speedway side of things. And now, of course, has been a dominant driver on the road course. So, they'll all group together here. It's going to be a few minutes before they get to pit road. Remember, it was the top 5 plus 8th. The old tires, Matthew Long likely the second of the lead. So Dirty South Racing has played this strategy very well this race. I will say that, though. With the way things are going for their team, they've got good cars, they've got good rhythm, they've got good drivers up here to be able to control things as an organization right now.
They've managed to get the track position early for this stage. My worry is, like, what happens when the cars go further back? They've obviously ran really well in that clean air. But do these cars run as well when that gets taken away from them? Might definitely be a struggle. But if they can come through the field, even getting towards single-digit positions, it doesn't have to be the leader of this race. If they're able to move forwards in the dirty, that'll probably show enough that everyone else around them is going to be very concerned about the pace of the 41 and 62 come the end of this race. Few corners to go before you can get the first round of pit stops going. Again, front 5 plus Sean O'Brien in 8th place at the end of the stage should take the pit. So this track is now heating up a bit as well. 110 Fahrenheit means that grip is going to go away from this track as well, and over this next run a little bit longer. Still a potential for a caution to break it up, but could definitely be a case that these rears are going to really become a problem for these drivers late in the run. And that's when stuff gets really dramatic. It's we've seen a few issues already where cars have been having issues trying to get out of the way of lead lap cars. When some of the mid-pack cars start getting squirrely as well, because I presume that's where the issues are going to start with grip. I think that's going to cause a bit of a cascade effect on a bunch of cars playing marbles on a very narrow bit of track.
And here we go. Dyson in pit. I guess he is comfortable on fuel until the end of stage 2. Correct me if I'm wrong, were you on the call last night? Because I heard he tried a similar call yesterday, then pit during the last green flag run, then got stuck in traffic in what was Edward Scherer Jr. coming away with the win. Scherer Jr.
Yes, but my problem now isn't the fuel window. It's going to be close based on what I think the fuel number is, but the caution lap's definitely going to be helping with that. My problem is you're going to be on 23 lap old tyres. You've got a decent buffer with a few scuffs behind you, though they're only 6 laps fresher, but towards the end of this run you are going to be really struggling for grip, and if you do pit halfway through this race, just split down the middle, have the caution repack the fields, you're going to lose that clean air you've been able to have so far in this run, and that's really going to put you at the mercy of the pace of the cars around you, which frankly hasn't been your pace. So I think this... You're saying you like the strategy of the 41 team. I'm not so sure I do at this point.
Yeah, I didn't say if I liked it. I just said it's a strategy I know he's attempted.
Well, before the pit stop window.
We'll see what happens here. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. More coverage. Stage 2 coming up here on the FLCC.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
show. Faces hidden, masks they wear, bullies ruling, no one dares. Silent crowds in disrepair. Strength is rare, it's also bare. Who will rise up, who will fight? Darkness takes away the light. Voices drown in silent night. Stand together, make it right. Cubano heart, you see the pain. Divided, evil leaves a stain. Different flags, but same refrain. Unity can break the chain.
Welcome back to Maconi Entertainment for tonight's coverage of the full-length Cup Challenge from the streets of Chicago. Drew Dyson and Matt DiCianni were the only two not to pit during that first stage caution. So a roll of the dice for some of the drivers in the field here to see how things play out. Should be an interesting night. Let's see what happens here for this restart. Matt Udlon starts in third. Clayton Hoffman will start up front with Lucas Hoytsma amongst the top five. As we get ready for stage two, what do you see the approach being? We'll see. I'm curious to see where the tire falls with those two up front.
Dyson's going to have the advantage in terms of just being able to get a good launch, pull away from the field, and leave DiCianni probably in the clutches of every single car behind. Should be able to take care of the rears as well. Tires have had a lot of time under these cautions to come down, but once they start hitting up towards the back of the run, if Dyson finds himself under pressure and has to drive defensive to try and cover off some pressure, those tires are going to fall away from him very quickly, I think. So it's just a case of get away and stay away for the 41 right now.
So here we go. This will take us to about lap 45. Green flag is out. Backing away. Robert Miller still has to serve a black flag. 17 instant points black flag limit, by the way. That's how many some of these drivers have already picked up. Some drivers picking up some more. Dylan Kritz hit the wall. Others just trying to hold on for dear life.
You can see how aggressive Hoffman's being right now, trying to get that car around the 97 of Hoytsma. Can't quite get it through there, but definitely looking to try and take advantage of those fresh tyres while they're still feeling pretty fresh. So they will fall off in a few laps' time, given they pitted on the caution before the stage break. So trying to get away from these fresh runners. Currently, that pack led by Vroman in the 13th position, so a bit of space there to work in. But again, it's about the time gap more than the track gap for some of these drivers, because once they start falling, the time gap is going to close up. You need to make sure you're in a position where you can just get away.
Coffee, who we usually see in our different leagues like Moonshiners and others, just running his own pace. William Owens, I think he's managed to destroy the race car because he's got a meatball flag and it's already towed the race car. He has been having a bit of a rough one tonight. He's not the happiest on road courses, and this is why.
It's just the old outbreaking yourself into turn 4. Unfortunately, that corner not the easiest one to get right. You need to be right on the balance of the car to make sure you don't get that nasty bit of understeer that's just going to send you straight to the barrier. But obviously you want to carry as much speed as you can through, so you do end up pushing limits a little bit too hard, and well, Owens found the limit and is paid the price for it. It's still under a lot of pressure here. There's now Matt DiCianni in that 4 car trying to get through as well. Oh, sorry, that 4 car's falling backwards. That was DiCianni started in 4th place.
Coffee just wheeled off.
Oh no!
Coffee in the wall. Kritz in the wall too. Coffee avoids damage, but he's in an awkward spot to back up. Looks like he's able to get it turned around, but here's the replay. So easy to go hippity, hoppity, spinny.
Just catches the bump in the rear angle. I thought that would be a braking issue for the 54 there, but no, just that steps out from underneath, under the throttle there, and obviously that car does a good job. I will say, I'm not getting the wall too hard at Coffee, but spends a long time getting that car turned around. The tyres are going to be cooked to hell for the short term, so that will be very ill handling for the short while, and you've got to turn in track position to try and make back as well.
Crits right now just all over the racetrack. He's got attacked by Vrolman and pass made. Pitting. The 64 is pitting. So Dylan Crits, having damage building up on that car, has to take it in.
Does a good job of swinging out the way. Unfortunately, you can't get that under caution, but depending on how much damage there is on that car, it might be a case that you'll stay either lead lap or one down. Not the end of the day for you, but definitely an ill-handling 64 right now.
The air battle's looking like this right now. Tyler Hunter started 27th. Managed to stay on the lead lap, though, with the top of the caution flag, and has been able to get himself into the middle of the lead lappers. So far, not a bad night after having some struggles in quali.
That's what you can ask for at this point. Just make, again, if you have a car point forward to the end of this race, you're probably going to have a decent finish overall. You might lose a few positions here if you've got some faster drivers behind you looking to make a move. Chooses not to this time. 29 of Tanner Marty there in the back of the shots. Sean O'Brien still waiting in the wings, but again, like the race will come to you. Just give it time. You don't need to push the advantage, especially if you don't have a car that suits you for this track. Just bring it around. You'll get a good finish at the end of the day. You can see the attrition rate is already not great with everyone at 33rd out of this race already. So plenty of time. Make sure you're there.
Oh, Hunter just
and I
knocked
say
the wall.
that.
Yep. On cue, into the wall. 48 ounce damage. Marty takes advantage. Ryan makes a move. Derek Heitman makes a move also. As mentioned, Heitman going on with 5 minutes of damage. He's trying to drive a very wounded race car forward, able to make a dive for a spot.
Just managed to get the car stopped as well. Really nice move there for the 76. Up to 50th place, and now with a bit of space in front, should be able to stretch the legs a bit. But you can see the problem with Tyler Hunter there. If he's backing the field up, one slip up and you suddenly have to let 2 or 3 cars by, really hamper your lap time, not to mention the damage taken from hitting the concrete. He's speed up to seconds. That's quite impressive, actually.
That was
car through the field. And now it's worn away from the lead of this race. Andrew Dyson trying to drive away, but might struggle overall. Hoytsman needs to be careful, though. Last race in the Xfinity Series here looked very good. Was able to carve through the fields in really short order. Struggled later in the run. Just let the rears of the car get away from him. Maybe he had damage that didn't help with that, but I think with the knowledge that, yes, the rears need to be kept in check around here, probably going to conserve a little bit better. And with the way Dyson's already got so many laps on the tyres, I do think Hoytsman might be looking to take at least the stage 2 in a way here. But we'll have to see what goes on, because there's still a long way to go.
Yeah, 126.3 last time by. Today's it's 126.7. By the way, Murray, after almost 2 minutes of repairs, is right back at the top 5. He is looking pretty quick also. 127.2 last time by, quicker than DeCiani and Matthew Long. He's got top 3 pace in the car still, after running second before his incident.
Going to take that 4th place away from DeCiani, though. The tyres should be in the favour of the 7, although to be fair, it does look like DeCiani's at least done a good job of holding to what's left on those good years. So we'll hold the position so far. Oh, goes a little bit deep, excuse me. As soon as I say that, yeah, position straight on. But because of the way the move is done, it doesn't look like DeCiani's given up too much time. There's a fairly easy wave by for the 7, so 4 should be able to stay at least close, get a bit of draft, maybe defend against the 57 of Stone, who's now the chasing car.
On the prowl still, absolutely. Speaking of drivers on the prowl, that's 65. Still up for grabs for more attacks. Hunter Trueau. He's looking to try and find a way forward past the RMH machine, or HM machine, should say. As mentioned, he's already taken some licks to the front end, but seems to be doing a solid job keeping the pace last time by. Half a second quicker than the 65.
As always, it's one thing to catch them as it pass. You can see that 65 currently being held up by another car in front of them as well. So if you catch one car, you have to try and work around the 29 of Tanner Marty. who's going to be the real blockade here. So you need to just sort of drive around them, see where they're slow, so you can pull alongside the car you're chasing, try and take that position away. And then also when you get that pass done, then you have to worry about getting checked up yourself so you don't get that position taken back away from you. It's a whole chess game when you're in a 3-car battle like this. It's one thing to you can maybe pull down the inside here, send a move. 57 of Stone thinks about it, can't quite do it that time. But oh, huge contact in the front of the shot though.
That was Tommy Gossett. Some apologies on the radio as Gossett, well, he licked the stamp and said he lost it.
Oh,
and Meatball flags abound for the 07.
So this is the other problem with the three-way dancing, that one of these cars gets a foot wrong, trying to defend, trying to attack. Oh, that's just a huge outbraking moment there. And no, that was never stopping. That was never stopping for the 07. That's just going to be a car going straight to pit road there. That is a deep send by Gossett, and certainly a dramatic result. I'm surprised the car's able to make the next corner, quite frankly. That was a deep send, but we'll have to bring that car to pit roads, and I'll jam the gas to try and not cause too much contact, which explains the very much miss of the braking zone. But yeah, that car definitely we're going to be spending a long time on pit road.
So there was the jam of the gas that seemed to avoid significant contact. Gossett tripping in the top 5 driver. Done. And take a look at this here. This is Murray. Now making some moves. That puts him into 3rd.
Brilliant swing down the inside there. He gets past Long and now has about 3 seconds to make up to Hoytsma, who's sort of fallen off the back of Dyson a little bit, but still doing a good job of hauling that car around. Again, you know that 41's going to have to come in at some point, give that position away to you on the pits, presumably. So you may be just happy to bide your time, wait for the race to come to you, and maybe the 41 has to pit for fuel before the end of the stage. You still take a second place for the stage, it's still a very good point showing. Just you take what you can, given the state of the race. 62, the teammate of the 41's fallen back in the order, obviously after having pits, but it's still driven to 10th place, and will take the 9th away from Hodgson in the 12.
Pearson, who picked up repairs on the front nose, can tell you, by the way, there was a swap for 3rd, reason being Murray just slapped the wall. But turn 1 seems to be extremely deadly when it comes to the racing line. Just a lot of drivers being extremely dangerous when it comes to that entry to turn 1. It's so easy to slam the wall there, it seems, tonight. And it's collected so many drivers just with those toe links, all those sends. What can you do to back up those corners? Try and avoid that contact in some of these major send areas.
It's easy to say just back up your braking a bit, step back away from the race. You don't have to have the maximum pace every single lap. If you bring the braking back, you're about to get the car settled earlier, the car will turn in a lot smoother, you're not trying to carry speed, you're less likely to pluck up a tyre. But obviously these drivers are trying to push like hell, trying to find every advantage they can, and sometimes it's very easy to just over-brake yourself. 71 of a Truel ends up in the pit lane for presumably a similar incident.
See what happened to the 71. And yet again,
yeah,
that's such an easy area for people to make mistakes tonight. That run through 4 and 5 through what is a lane of traffic at best. It's so easy for that to happen.
Just mess up your braking zone once and suddenly you're in the wall, and minutes of repairs required. It's sort of into the day in terms of contending for a podium, perhaps. Murray's got even more damage now, falling back into 7th place. Not doing too good in that 7. I think it's going to be compounding issues, because obviously once you've got one problem with the car, you have to drive against it, and if you try and push too hard, it's very easy to overstep what is your new limit. Find the barrier several more times.
Yeah, he is getting eaten alive right now in that car with some of the hits to it. So far, though, the Pink Machine has been flying. The Pink Panther. Vroman trying to find his way to Cam Stone to We're able to keep up that progression again. Left the Ryko House team due to commitment situations. Still been running their setups though, and still it's been probably running essentially as an independent throughout this series for the most part. He's looked very solid all series long. Whenever we've seen him make starts, there's a reason a few years ago that teams took notice to him, his ability to go vroom vroom.
Certainly more of a purple menace, I think, there in the 95. But yeah, doing very good. Currently leading the cars that came down at the caution take pits, and currently has a lot of cars in front. Ooh, just about avoids the front bumper of Stone, but should get the business. No, can't quite get the throttle down to get alongside, but certainly looking like the aggression is there in 95 and has the pace to take that 4th place away. It's going to be a case of you get opportunity after opportunity after opportunity if you're the faster car. As long as you're able to hang on to that bumper and you don't put a foot wrong into their rear, you just need to wait for them to make a big enough slip up that you can get through. And by the way they've closed up, I think that window should come sooner rather than later for Vroman.
So far about 11 and 12 laps into his run, 17 laps into Cam Stone's run. The drivers who stayed out, like Dyson, 34 laps into the field run currently. And at Delaney as he tries to find a way around Hodgson. Right now is
in the back of this shot, and that is a car that's falling backwards now in 11th. That car is definitely not. That car needs the caution. Unfortunately, that's only going to come for another 10 laps.
Oh, Stony Benfield. Well, the reason you don't see him is 7 just ran over the 70. But still hold on for the time being. You can see them whirl the way through already on lap 35 of this one. We'll give an update. William Owens has made it clear he's looking next stop Sonoma, Sandmark. So he'll have to learn how to turn right for wine country. Looking at Heitman, still dealing with the damage. He's still been able to haul with that car into the 128. Right now he is quick enough, based on some of the pace, to be able to run in the top 3. He just doesn't have the track position.
It's one thing to catch, another to pass. You can definitely get up to someone's bumper. It's where do you make the move? You've got a decent gap here to that car in front, 83 of Benefield. But if you've got this much gap going into turn 6, it is a deep send. You should break them by a significant margin to get the pass done here. So I think you're just going to be stuck behind. And that's just going to be time you're hemorrhaging away to the lead cars, as they don't have to deal with the problem of trying to overtake a slower car like this. If you just end up riding the bumper, you can't go through someone who's slower than you, as the problem of Roman's very neatly at showing off here. So you have to sit behind, wait for them to make the mistake, but even if they're just a bit slow but not enough to open the window, you have to drive that bit slower as well, and it can be so frustrating to be sat here knowing you could be pulling further ahead, knowing you could catch longer than the 28 who's at the front of your shot there. But instead you have to sit in between everybody and try and wait for the window that's just not coming, because that Rowan's been stuck now behind Stone for a while. I thought that move would be fairly easy for the 95, but obviously not been, as Coffee just takes advantage, tries to send it down the inside, gets the move, just about done. 29 gives space and lets the following car through as well. Ron Miller now pulls up into 15th place, and he's going to be very happy the window was open for him there.
Yeah, I believe he was able to serve his penalty, so that's the bright side. Miller has been bounced around all over the place, just going to have to keep it clean. Remember, the incident limit is 21 for the DQ tonight, so essentially one major slide or major hit for the 15 may be the unraveling of the driver known for being a magnet for contact while having speed. The Altus cars seem to have the speed, it's just for him. It's just been the difficulty of getting into clean pockets. Tempers over the radio, the 97 just had an issue. He just slammed Brandon Hastings. Not happy over the radio after Hastings slammed the wall.
Hastings a lapped car, so those community issues are just, you don't want to have to deal with lapped cars getting out of the way. Lucas Huisman's lost 2 seconds to the leader because of it. You see they're just going fairly nominally through, and it just gets loose. coming at the final corner. That's going to compromise next corner massively, and yep, tags the wall, tags the 97. Can't quite keep it in the wall. It's a very hard call to make though if you're the 81, so unfortunate for Hoytsma, but not, other than not blowing the corner entirely, which fair enough, I'm not sure what the 81's meant to do in that situation. Hastings has to take it to the pit lane, try and take it to repairs after that contact, but obviously tempo's running high right now with a few laps left in this stage.
Hoytsma, by the way, now 4 seconds back. He's got 16 lap fresher tires than Andrew Dyson. And it just doesn't matter with Dyson's pace. He's still in the 127s. Dyson is that strong here tonight. Another report coming over the radio. Adam Benefield, pedal issues. The fact that his pedal is sliding around the floor, that's not good for the 83 cam.
It's not the worst thing in the world, but when this track is so brake sensitive as it is, if the brake is slightly out of position, that means your braking is going to be slightly out of position, and that's a very good way of ending up in the wall. I imagine that car's going to take it fairly easy here, just to make sure that you get around. Try and just wait for the caution so you can maybe realign the pedals. Hopefully you can do that under pit circumstances quickly, but yeah, definitely not a great day there for the 83. Laney's still putting the pressure on the 12 Hodgson though, as those two have been nose to tail for quite some time now, but obviously whatever 12's doing has been able to keep the 6 behind for a long period of time now, so I imagine this is where tempers build, as you're stuck behind someone that you think you're faster than. Maybe you're not when it comes to actually getting past them, but you think you are, so you're just like thinking, damn, I could be running so much harder, so much faster, I could be catching Hoffman, I could be catching Pearson, I could be doing so much better than I am right now, and it's all because of this person. You might not be willing to give them so much room when it comes to the next time you're trying to race together, and that's when sparks tend to fly.
Yeah, and in this series, people have long memories. It's the reason there was so much chatter before today, especially with people knowing the tendencies from Coda, the tendencies, or of course in general. A lot of these competitors know that the next few weeks they've got to get cozy with going left and right. It's about survival and finding friends to survive with in these battle packs. Right now, Pearson and DeCiani on screen. Pearson still keeping up. DeCiani's done a decent job on his strategy despite the fall to the 128. Others, like Roman, looking to get a podium for the stage. Coming up towards about 6 to go.
Again, you get close to someone's bumper off that final corner, you have to give up the speed on exit because you can't really get away around them, and that just lets Long get a decent advantage on the throttle, spend more time there, pick it up earlier just so you can pull away, just to make sure you're outside the danger zone of the next corner, and it just repeats and repeats and repeats. The only way Roman's going to really get a good opportunity to make the pass is you just absolutely send it in one of the corners, or Long gets a foot down in a bad position, spins up the rears trying to get away, and that's the point where you can dive down the inside on corner exit and pull away that way. Right now, that dirty south car looks very stable. I say that it slows up a little bit through the turn 4 section, and now this might be the winner of Roman. He needs to actually make the pass. He's going to try and send it. No, chooses to brake earlier, chooses not to get too aggressive, but I think the window's just been open. 95 has just found a way through. I'm not sure what happened there. It looked like Long had his brake markers perfectly, but just doesn't turn in for the corner, and that just opens up the window for the 95. Gets alongside, and that's just an easy pass now for the Purple Menace, and that's going to be 95 helps draw off the distance. That's actually better than 57 of Stone's for the equation as well, as Stone's going to be wanting to take that P4 as well.
You see a purple car, I see a pink car. Either way, it's a fast car.
Magenta, I believe, is the correct term, but who's counting?
Well, it's a car. We can agree on
it's a car and a colour.
Yes, that we can agree on. But I will say, it's very fast. Oh, we just had a pit stop. Matt DeCiani. He just went up to 39 laps, and now it becomes the question, when does Dyson peel down?
Any time now, and the end of the stage is going to be good, I think. You probably want to pit lap 43 if the fuel tank gets there. I'm not sure what the fuel window would end up being. I thought it was to be 37, just on a quick check, but obviously if Dyson's savings had a few laps in the caution, that could be extended. 42, 43, maybe 44 if he's feeling himself, but certainly not running like he's saving that much, so But then obviously everyone else is going to pit when the caution comes out, and Dyson should cycle towards the front of the field. So the 41, I thought was going to struggle for this run. I thought it was going to be a really bad position, but I think just because the way that the tyres worked out for him, might just end up okay overall.
And now, look to see how these drivers fare out to close out the stage. Clayton Hoffman now ahead of Hodgson Delaney. He's lost touch by 6 seconds all of a sudden, so something has happened obviously to Delaney in terms of mistakes to lose ground with 12. That came last time by.
Oh, hold on to it.
Oh, Hoffman getting loose. Can't
Does a
confirm.
good job though.
I can confirm the reason Delaney lost time is he nearly ran over the 12 and locked it up and spun it.
That's the other problem with racing and like so close to someone's bumper, is that you can just lose sight of your own brake markers when you're that focused on the car in front of you. It is very easy to just go, oh, I've missed my brake by a little bit. Maybe if you've got a bit less air in the car than you think you have access to. He's going to tag the wall there on entry. Keep it pointed forwards though. We'll probably have a huge issue into turn 6 then. Which has been the problem zone for all these drivers. He's going to have a huge toe. He's going to have way more speed than he's probably used to coming into this corner. He's going to outbrake the 12. Tag the rear actually, and does a good job of not causing any further damage to the car, but obviously sideways there, loses a ton of time just trying to get that car straightened out again. Thankfully no one's chasing him, so should be okay overall, but the tempers with the 12 might get a little high towards the end of this race. Okay, so that front left, looks a little bit tagged in there, so that car is going to be very ill handling now.
Yeah. Dyson's still going, by the way. Less than 5 to go on the stage. And he's coming down.
Yep.
Dyson's in. This is for his pit service to be able to get himself going from here. Able to make a one-stop race potentially possible here. And this is going to see him fall down the pylon and have to charge to the field.
I would give any amount of money to know how good Tyson's tyres are going to be here. Obviously, 42 laps leading the race. Pushing at a pretty consistent, very good pace. But obviously, now only has to do 33 to get to the end. And obviously, if you can go do 40, you could definitely do 30. Has to be feeling very confident this 41. He's going to give a ton of track position in the short term, but that's all going to come back to him when this caution comes out in 3 laps. I didn't believe for the 41, but they're proving me very much wrong right now, as Hoytsman's taken the lead of this race in the short term, but obviously he's going to fall way down the order when presumably Hoytsman's going to pit when the caution comes out for the stage, and I don't know how many drivers are going to stay out here, or they're going to try and flip this stage, but yeah, this 97 I thought would have the pace over the long run compared to the 41, but I do think the tyres might have just gotten away from Hoytsman again over the long run.
Still has 7 seconds over Nicholas Roman though for the stage. Coming up to about 3 to go. Pearson now looking to try and battle his teammate for 3rd spot meanwhile. Got a great effort, claw up, and Matthew Long just indicated he's pitting this time by, so the 28 will also flip the stage.
Fair enough, if you want the track position over the long run, you can absolutely take it. That's going to let the 62 through, try and get a few stage points as well. Roman stayed out as well for the immediate time, as has Nolan Hodgson. So split strategies coming into this, and obviously the more cars that pit now, the more worried Hoytsman's going to be, because that's another car that he's going to have to overtake in the next stage. It's going to be the longest green flag run if it does go green, 30 laps potentially. And if the tyres are struggling for Hoytsman like I suspect they are, he's going to have a really bad time of it, trying to get through the field and conserve those rears. It's going to be a very challenging run there for the 97.
Hoffman also flipping it. Delaney's also gone on in, so the Altus car's also trying the strat.
Dyson has pitted from 1st place, got through everybody, and somehow put the car back up into 5th. Even though this should be a concession of a lot of track position for the 41, he's still going to get a ton of stage points for this section of the race. He's going to come out in 5th. Obviously, the cars in front of him will need to pit at some point, so yeah, Dyson's done a fantastic job. I just didn't appreciate how much track position he managed to gain over the course of that run. I thought he was going to fall way back in the order, but obviously being able to run in clean air meant he's be able to pull away from everybody. When he's pitted in a really good bit of track, probably far up the order and come out way ahead of where he should have.
There goes Roman. Oh, this is going to get interesting. Just entered pit road, but
No.
pit road, I think, just closed when he ducked down. Yes, it did. He came down when it was already 2 to go for the leader. Bad timing for Nicholas Roman.
Obviously the gap not quite as small as he thought it was going to be there, so that's going to put the 95 to the back of the field. That is such a hard deal for Roman, who's doing so well so far in this race. Now there's a ton of track he needs to make through. At least the upside is you can pit again, you can take 4 fresh and be okay overall for the final stage, but it's going to be a long day now for the 95 to try and get back up to the top of the field. Second place when they pitted, and now going to fall back presumably to... Well, to be fair, the rate of attrition's been quite high for this race so far, so probably going to fall down to 24th. That's still 23 cars you want to overtake.
We'll see how they get the penalty situation dealt with the 95, since he came in with pit road closed. And the in-sim penalty is end of longest line by default. All this is wow. 1 to go coming up for Lucas Hoytsma. He's tasked to get around the traffic again.
But if I'm Hoytsma at this point in time, I know I've got a 12-second lead to Pearson in second place. I know I'll need to survive 1 lap to win this stage. I will get through this lap car eventually. I don't need to do it now. I can just wait until the window is very much open for me. I don't need to take any risk. I am so far risk averse that, yeah, okay, if you get the overlap here, that's more than fine, but I am not sending it anywhere near the inside of this 19, just in case something goes wrong. That's how big the advantage is.
So just has a half a track to go now. The 97 does. Clouds now coming over the racetrack, where the radar still says 0%, by the way, for those curious, in terms of the rainy situation. 99 degrees Fahrenheit track temperature right now. Close up stage 2. In some time is already 2:30. So a strategic race so far, with already a lot of cars out of the race, at least 15 parking their machines. Lucas Hoytsma come out of the final corners here. What is a strong play for him on strategy? Lucas Hoytsma at the stage. Stage number 2, green-white checker flag here in Chicago. Pearson, second spot right now, 12 seconds back. See if he holds on to that with Hansen in third currently. Hoytsma takes another stage 1 on the season. But again, the 62, followed by the 12. It's run over for second and third. Dyson does get to fourth. At the end of the stage, Jarek Heitman rounds out the top 5. He had a buffer of 2 seconds for his position. There he is there with Benefiel slipping, sliding to 6th. 7th spot, Nicholas Roman pit. Still had big enough advantage to get good stage points in his regard. We'll finish 6 seconds back of Benefiel with Matthew Law and Cameron Stone. And then a battle for 10th to close it. They've called it. Stone, O'Brien Jr., the top 10 is the order. So far, strategy being flipped here by many. We'll see how this works out after the break. Pit stops coming up. You're watching Maconi Entertainment.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back, everyone, to Chicago for more coverage of the Full Length Cup Challenge. And what has been an eventful night so far of racing. 20 cars to remain on the lead lap. Lucas Hoytsman, Neil Pearson, Owen Hodgson, Andrew Dice, Derek Heitman, Adam Benefield, Nicholas Roman, Matthew Lawn, Cam Stone, Sean O'Brien Jr., all coming into the top 10 for this stage. And now we should see many of those names pit, but some, like Dyson, like Roman, like Lawn, and Stone, should stay out here as they flip the stage Alice.
And unfortunately for Hoytsmer, it's a good drive to get to the top of the order, but he's going to have to take the hard right turn here, get it on pit road, and give up all that track. As you can see, there's the few cars behind staying out, and you'll see they keep coming and coming and coming, and you know with the 97, that's one more car that has to... You have to get by, excuse me, to try and get them in this race. Brandon Hastings has managed to pick up a meatball while under caution. I think that might have been an earlier incident that we just got the flag for there.
I think it just blew the motor while getting repairs done.
That's unfortunate, and that's obviously a day-ending incident there. It's going to be a while to get that repaired, if at all possible. Might have a few bits of contact here. 61 just about gets in front, and 62 Willie that race off pit road. Neil Pearson ahead of Nolan Hodgson, but Hoytsman leads them off as well. So Hoytsman starts in 6th place. Pearson, Hodgson, Roman, Broughton Jr. round out the top 10, but Dyson, Longstone, Delaney, and Robert Miller your top 5 as it stands right now.
And as they complete pit stop service, we do have somebody standing by to speak with during this stage 2 break. Dustin Hall now joins the broadcast booth. Dustin, first things first, how have things been going for the Team Conti camp here tonight?
Hey, Justin, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. How have things been going for you and your team?
You know, we're lefty-righty, not really our repertoire, but hey, we're out here playing around. We've got, see, Adam and Cam both running the top 10. We had Cam get wiped out lap 1 by a self-spin by a vet. I'm sure it wasn't anything malignant or on purpose, but things happen in big time racing when you're big time racing, and Cam got caught up in that lap 1, but Adam and Cam are both top 10 right now. Adam's struggling with some pedal issues, but no, we're Team Conti's doing about what we expect for these lefty-righty racetracks.
How was the setup process in terms of being able to get things prepared for this week to try and build a car for a road course like this?
We put in the work, but really it all comes down to a lot of community feedback and things that we receive back from others. When it all comes down to it, when we're looking at the likes of an Andrew Dyson or a Alex Murray, Neil Pearson, some of these guys who are really good at these road course races, we just hope to come out and just kind of hang, compete, and see what we can do. I mean, obviously, if we had a top tier road course ringer, an SVG or a Dinger, it'd be a different story. But I think we still bring good cars. The only limits, not saying that the guys we got wheeling these cars are any slouches by any means, but when you come to a track like this, such a technical place, you're turning left, you're turning right, you've got guys who really, really excel. Like I say, your SVGs, your Dingers of the series, your Dysons who, Miller when he doesn't stand in his own way, Alex Murray, you've got some guys that are really good at these types of tracks, and all we can do is really, really put something out there to compete. So that's what the goal is, and I think we've done that. There's been some situations throughout this race that have kind of, really clouded it all. But I'm proud of the TC approach, but more so I'm excited to watch a good race to the end.
So what do you expect as one of the drivers in the series from these competitors to close out this one? Because we have got 26 laps to go. What are the expectations in our approach for a road course race from your perspective here to close things up for these guys?
Good question, Justin. Dyson showed us what he can do, even on older tires. Dyson's the cream of the crop tonight, and it's going to take him really having a complete mental failure to take this win from him. There are guys like Matthew Long, who has played strategy game to get where he is, and track position. It definitely does play a part. It's really hard to pass at this Chicago street course. So there's that. Matthew Long's sitting pretty. There are other guys behind him. I'm looking at Delaney. I'm looking at Cam Stone. I'm looking at Lucas Hoytsma. Miller, I don't know how bad that damage was initially. If he was able to, early on in stage one, if he was able to fix it all, if he was, he'll be solid for a top 5. Neil, look for him to climb, and then obviously Adam, look for him to climb back. Roman's had some pace. It's going to be exciting. There's going to be a lot of moves here in this last stage. I look for it to get pretty dicey and exciting.
Well, the restart just got underway. Once again, Dustin, thank you very much for the time. As the race gets back underway, why don't you get back to your team?
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you.
Dustin Hall joins the broadcast booth during the Stage 2 break. Stage 3 now underway, Alice. Interesting words from one of the team drivers and someone that's worked as a crew chief in the NASCAR Cup iRacing Series. Right now, some of his team drivers are in the hunt for the podium.
But you saw the nod given to Andrew Dyson, cream of the crop. It's hard to argue with that. That's a good launch. Obviously, being in control of the restarts going to mean you are able to get away well, but once again, able to build that strong gap initially. I think once he gets about 2-second lead, he might take his foot off the gas a little bit. Just try and conserve the tyres, because again, this is a long run. This is going to be potentially the longest green flag run. Still opportunity for a caution to come, but if it does go long, you want to make sure you have a car underneath you at the end of it. And I do think Andrew Dyson's been doing a good job of going not only fast, but also conservatively, making sure there's a car at the end of the race.
It's been a stellar race for him all throughout this one, and now it's going to be the question of seeing how long he does it in. Will we see this race go to green, or will we see that 70% chance of a random caution come out to be able to bring us back under the yellow flag? We'll have to see what happens here. So, Pearson we're keeping an eye on right now. He's also part of the Dirty Solve campaign right now, trying to keep up with Lucas Hoytsma here on equal tire.
Hoytsma lead car of those that pitted under that last caution. Tires might take a bit to get up temperature, and I'm not sure the difference is going to be there for it to even make that much of a difference. Only 5 laps between Hoytsma and Stone through Miller. Dyson obviously pitting a lap earlier. And even that's not going to be too consequential in the grand scheme of things. So if Hoytsma wants those positions, you have to get it the old-fashioned way, which is being faster than the car in front of you. And that's not necessarily the easiest thing to be around here. As you can see, there's a bunch of fast drivers that are slowly pulling away from the 97. In fact, that gap has increased marginally. But a train of cars right now being led by Stone, and then 2.5 seconds now to Dyson in front.
All sorts of gaps already growing out as a result. How things have started off here. Heitman nearly using the bumper. O'Brien just said, I'm going to give it to you on the front. Does Heitman wait to that point? Looks like yes. They'll just set up a corner exit. And the 65 says, you know what? All of you can go. He just said on the radio.
Does let the first car through, but I don't think there's enough space to let the next one through unless he gets really, and just stay super outside, waves all the other cars through. Decides he doesn't want to be tangled up in some of the incidents we saw earlier. Just chooses to fall down the order in the short term, potentially to have a car towards the end of this race. O'Brien definitely playing the long game here, and I don't know how that's going to work out. The attrition's been bad, but not that bad, and these front drivers have shown they can keep it on the track for now. So when the tempers start to flare, they might start to get into each other, but certainly O'Brien happy to concede, at least in the short term. Right now, it's going to be Heitman, trying to drive away. Hasn't been able to gap the 92 of Hoffman's. They're still pretty close to each other. Even Heitman got the advantage of getting that through earlier and having a clear view of where to go through the corner. And that 92 has just been stuck on the rear bumper of the 76, and again, the move might be hard to make, but it does feel inevitable. However, last time I said that, Delaney found the wall, so you need to be careful with what you say around here, unfortunately. Speaking of Delaney, has actually made his way up to 4th place. That's actually not too bad there for a driver that's had a bad spin early on in the race.
Yeah, not bad at all. Just able to keep things clean, helping keep the instant points low. Haven't had a DNF in the past while or so either, not to jinx it. So, we'll say if Miller is indeed high up in instant points like I think he is here too, it's been impressive that he's kept it so clean in stages 2 and 3 since that black flag under one of the caution flags. It does make it where Miller in theory cannot touch a single car.
You can afford the 0x, but that 0 can very quickly turn into a 4 if you're not ready for it. And that would presumably mean race over from the 15 if it is incident points, so definitely needs to be careful trying to tiptoe his way around. But right now, Cameron Stone, the bottleneck that's causing all these cars to back into the 15, and that's actually a good way of getting an incident as well. So the incident happens in front of you, you end up driving through it. Sometimes you can get a ghost contact, and that can end your race as well. So yeah, if I'm Miller, I'm definitely feeling a bit terrified right now, but you can't be scared. You have to drive forward. The good finish is right there in front of you. You see the second place car, you just need to go out there and take it.
Right now, no one's been able to find those chances to close up. Alex Coffey, by the way, recently parked it. He's now fallen multiple laps down with damage. So the 54 is now the next driver off the pace and out of the race after some slams to the wall. The rest of the field maintains itself here in the closing stretch. Looking now once again, Hoytsma is Pearson behind. Surprised no one's had major issues in terms of like crashing into each other in turns 5 and 6 here tonight. That in some league races we've seen has been like a bowling alley. Tonight, drivers have done a good job in terms of the brakes. Pearson's a good example and Ascend in the backdrop there to be able to make a dive to the inside.
I think everyone's aware that we have the stage cautions coming. We know that you're going to get a chance to get at least the time back, if not the position itself immediately. Fighting that hard tooth and nail early on in the race isn't necessarily worthwhile. Now this is the final stage. There's no guaranteed caution from here to the end, so if you lose a position here, you're probably going to have to work hard to get it back, especially because there's no even natural pit window to really get through, as See the 16 with a bit of bumbling to along there, trying to take position under braking, and does get down the inside and through nice and clean there. But you can see the tempo's already starting to pick up a little bit as Delaney's getting the chrome horn out to try and get through some of these cars. And I think that's just going to pick up as this stint continues. Everyone has to be in take mode because there's not going to be any time left to pick it back up again afterwards. If it's given to you, you need to take it, and if you're giving it up, you're giving it up presumably for the rest of the race.
Side by side on screen. One spot. Leapfrogs past Lawn. So 97 moving up one more spot. Oh, this 12 nearly run to the back of Pearson. Had some damage actually to Neil's car. So Pearson now going to be dealing with some rear spoiler damage on his dirty self machine as he too is comfortable enough to make a pass.
Yep, just down the inside turn 6, the classic move. At 62. Doing a lot of good things, trying to keep that pressure on, trying to keep behind Hoytsman, who's really the car you need to be worried about if you're on the same pit strategy. But yeah, that 26 is definitely wounded, just falling back off the bumper of the 62 immediately, and now Hodgson in that 12, hounding as well. Problems do not stop for long right now.
Long, very sketchy. That was a big slide. Yeah, he has angered those rear tires. He is not looking comfortable on throttle at the moment.
But the problem is, like, these corners are so narrow that you really need to be alongside to really force the issue before you really get into it, because otherwise if you're Hodgson, you're just getting checked up and checked up and checked up, and another check up there for the 12 that's costing him time. They've already fallen a second and a half off the back of Pearson, and that gap is ever increasing. Hodgson needs to get past in a bad way, and unfortunately just, there's no way through. You have to sit here, you have to wait for the window to come to you, and that just means you're giving up time and time and time, and you have to feel so miserable at it. And that's when, especially in these late runs, I think that's when the issues are going to start getting a bit violent as the close up from the 12 just about avoids the ribbon for the 28, excuse me, but it's getting aggressive out there.
So the pace differentials really starting to separate things out. Meanwhile, Alex Murray now letting Nicholas Roman go. Where he's taken some lumps. He's had some speed to be able to run up front, but Nicholas Roman did come down under the caution flag after initially pitting with the pit road closed, so he kind of penalized himself by putting himself back into the field instead of just keeping out the track position. A smart play by him so race control doesn't look too badly at, you know, a pit road entry when pit road was closed.
I think Murray got a huge chunk of the wall there, if you don't... Oh, that,
he did.
That's a car backwards.
That's a car blocking the road.
It's off the racing line, thankfully. Should be able to get that car spun around safely, but that is just bad to worse from Murray. It's something to forget for the 7 campers. This car is just going to go straight on a corner, and that's never something you want to see.
The professional go-kart racer having some issues. Does the driver coaching in real life, races and professional events, and this car just didn't want to turn.
I think the front just locked down completely, and at that point there is no wheel in the car. You're going in a straight line, and that line takes you in the path of the tyre barrier, then so be it. Murray's staying out for now, but that is definitely going to be an ill-handling race car. Not that it wasn't before. Yeah, it's just going to be compounding issues for the 17. Speaking of compounding issues, Hodgson's still being held up by Long. That gap in front of Long hasn't got too massive, still only 2.5 seconds, but still a lot of time that Hodgson would like a chance to close up himself instead of being sat behind here. It's going to be a long, patient day for Hodgson to try and get through here.
For anyone to try and make some moves at this point, it's a track of patience, and Cam Stone just parking the bus right now. They are about near 1 second off the pace of Andrew Dyson's raw tempo. Last time by, 1.5 seconds. Oh, one of the drivers in the bracket, Alex Princeton, just had a crash. Remember, we've had the in-season tournament tonight. Princeton trying to outrace Devin Medeiros. Believe he's going to get the chance here still, but has a crash.
It's just not been a good day for the 19. They've had multiple minor hits, but that might be the biggest one. Full speed into the wall, and a second one for good measure. That car's going to need some repairs urgently, and does end up in the pit lane, so probably day over as far as the 19 is concerned. Might be able to get it back out, but it's going to be laps down at this point, so might be worth staying there as the 6 gets a little bit of a shove from the 15. So they're all jostling for position, all being held by Stone, who you wouldn't know Stone and Dyson aren't teammates, but the way they're being held up, Dyson's been able to drive off to an 8-second lead. Even if one of these cars does get through Stone, they have so much of a gap they need to make up just to try and get back up. I don't know if this is Dyson driving at full pelt or if Stone is holding that much, but massive advantage to the 41 right now.
They aren't teammates, mind you. It's a Conti car in second. I think this is just the raw pace of Dyson in general and how equal everybody else seems to be right now. That seems to be the case right now. 17 laps to go. Delaney has been faster in all the wrong places in this battle. They do have lap traffic ahead. Stoney Benfield has been a tough driver to pass. Oh, that was your run.
You can tell the aggression is starting to pick up right now. Delaney knows he needs to get through if he wants to have a shot at winning this race. He's going to try around the outside, through turn 4, into turn 5. Probably, no, he's actually going to make it work because I think Stone doesn't really have the confidence in the car to try and challenge that and tags the wall in the process, and I think that's just going to let Delaney drive off into the distance.
So up the spot goes Jonathan Delaney. Great NASCAR Coke driver able to move up the spot. Meanwhile, behind him, they reach that same traffic. Hudson trying to take advantage on the overlap. Couldn't get it to the quarter panel. Long still defending for 7th.
Doing a very good job of just putting the car in a situation where it's really difficult to actually make that pass and make it stick. And once you get through turns 1 and turn 6, there's not really a good way of getting through. It's going to have to be a case of getting on the throttle in a bad way for Long to really hit that position. He's been not fast, but certainly clean coming through these corners, not really put a foot wrong here. Just able to get the car slowed down, able to get the throttle down smoothly, and able to just shoot out of the corner with no real pressure behind. Oh, Disciani's actually slid through here, as Hodgins have to give up the fight for 8th place as let the 4 car through.
The Fortis car got a better run, took the dive, took the pass, and move up. Clayton Hoffman just ended his race. He's done. He had been running in the teens and has just parked it. It was not I don't know if it was any potential crash, but he did go straight into a tire barrier. So the 92 is out.
Rough deal, definitely ending collision either way, so hard times for them, but the race still continues on. No cautions here unless we get the random one, or a really bad track blocker might bring one as well, but right now this car's still fighting tooth and nail over 3rd position. Stone leads, Miller leads, Hoytsma leads Pearson in this pack. Delaney has pulled away 2 seconds to Stone just about, but Dyson still leads the pack by 10 seconds already. 10 laps into this final stint, 16 to go in the race, and it does look like it's Dyson's to lose at this point.
All right.
Another look into turn 1, but I don't think anyone's going to find a way past Stone. He's done a really good job of just, again, it's maintaining that pace, maintaining the car in such a way that's really difficult to make the pass, setting yourself in positions where if they want to pass, they have to risk their own car significantly. And Delaney had to use the bumper to try and get through and had the advantage of a lap car. It doesn't look like any of these chasing pack have that advantage right now. It looks like there might be half a second from Miller, but can't get alongside, and the 57 is going to maintain track position for now.
Everyone's staying choo-choo train. And of course tonight, with it being Independence Day weekend, we've seen a lot of patriotic paint schemes throughout this field. A lot of the red, white, and blue and the American flag popping out. And as Hoytsma gets passed by Pearson, it's a reminder that next week is going to be a theme round for paint schemes, in fact. And it's going to be for these drivers, Beer's Point is the nickname. Your favorite drink is going to be the theme for all the drivers' paint schemes next week.
Do they have to share a favorite drink, or?
I mean, your favorite adult beverage. make that your paint scheme.
Well, I think I'll be out of the running for that one. I sat here at what is 3:15 AM UK time with a kind of monster in hand, so I'm failing at both this week and next week's challenges. However, that has fallen off the back bumper of Stone, bringing it back to the action, but that has invited. Oh no!
Is that the race? Yes,
That's
it is.
disqualification.
That was
Oh, no.
what we were waiting to see could happen. Robert Miller off another car, spins it, race over, and the Robert Miller experience continues another race.
I don't think that was Miller getting involved in the car. I think that was Miller getting his foot down too hard, trying to stay out of the bumper of someone else, spinning it on his own. Obviously, the chasing cars have nowhere to go at that point. It was a self-inviting 4X, unfortunately. Miller's going to be kicking himself for that one. He was doing so well, able to hold it in the top 5 for so long, and one wrong application of the throttle just ended his entire day.
Matt Tiziani did squeak by Matthew Long, by the way, while we're talking about that. So the DNF list is now starting to grow, coming to 13 to go. The window for that random caution is ending at lap 70, remember. As Vroom gains an air spot into the top 8. Caution still at the back of people's minds, but obviously it's not a guarantee, and what's been made pretty clear, these drivers are going to keep on pushing until they see if there is one.
You can't predict the random caution, so your best bet is just pretend it's not going to happen and push like hell and hope it doesn't, or you might bank on it if you're a lap down, but you can't rely on it right now, so just go around the track as fast as you can like nothing's ever wrong and hope for the best. Roman doing a good job of that, has taken a position. Hodgson did get the wall there as he came through, so Nil handling 12, definitely working to the advantage of 95. Roman definitely looking forwards. Long's been certainly a cork in the bottle for some of these drivers, so Roman definitely looking to make quick work of the 28 if possible.
Now they continue on, coming to 12 laps to go here in the FLCC. Still checking in on some of the air battles back and forth here. Cam Stone maintains third, now with a more decent buffer because that spin. This might be a solid podium finish here for Cam Stone, who's been on the podium once or twice this season. Just trying to get it to the finish line. That's got to be the key.
Does have the advantage that Hoytsma has taken himself out trying to chase down Stone. I think Pearson might have just suffered the same fate, trying to push too hard into a corner and tag the wall slightly. Obviously not day ending for them, but certainly Hoytsma's fallen off the back of Pearson. I think Pearson might fall off the back of Stone. That was not a small hit coming into the wall there, and obviously that damage can affect your pace massively, and Stone's got to think to himself, man, I must be doing a really good job right now of being able to keep all these cars behind me. If it's a P3 for Stone, I think that's a very well-deserved finish.
I think so too. I'm still surprised Delaney is pulling it away. He is, by the way, because he added significant damage to both sides of the front clip and to the fenders. That car has been struggling. Lawn lets cars go again. Lawn drops down at 9th. Nicholas Roman up to 7th. As a result of that, slip on through. And
Watching him slip through as well, get 8th place, I'd definitely be happy with that one. Again, I think these cars are all just sort of, these wall hits have been adding up for some of these drivers, so if you're able to take a position away from someone without having to risk the car too much, I think they're going to be very thankful for it and take it every single time it's offered.
Thomas Kovacheski about a minute ago came down pit road for repairs, so the 88 has now entered damage situations. Right now, Bobby Anderson trying to find a way around a very wounded 7 car. It's been a bit of a struggle for Anderson around the road course, but here we are within a car length.
It doesn't matter if the pace is horrific these days, as long as you're able to get the car around the track in one piece, you can still have a decent finish. This car probably started fairly far down the order, but currently 14th for Bobby Anderson. 25 positions on the day, has to be very happy with that one, and definitely good points finish right now, and presumably can pick up a few more if some of these drivers that hit the wall quite hard, because that's another big hit for the 7. and it just keeps compounding here for Alex Murray, who has to be fuming behind the car right now.
Yeah. Let's see what happens here now. 6 is indeed sliding back as a result of all the damage buildup.
Oh, Blaney's fallen right back down the order. Wasn't second for a good while there, and suddenly in the Russell Wilks as Hoytsman looking to fall back into 5th place. Hoytsman is looking very aggressive right now. This might be a full send and should be a fairly easy pass as long as Delaney's willing to give the space.
Yep, let him go. Let him have it. Delaney's struggling right now, and Matt DeCiani is next up in the order. Try and do something here. So the 6 machine has picked up a lot of damage and is now really struggling to turn the race car, coming to 10 laps to go. Some of these drivers are needing grip and needing it in a bad way with the way things are shaping up here.
I think if you need grip, it sucks to say this. If you think you need grip, you just need to back it down a little bit as Hoytsman gets a little bit of a tag from Delaney there. But I mean, more contact as they get into the wall. Do manage to keep it pointed forwards for now, but a hard hit for Hoytsman. Car still going for now, but it has let 2 through. That'll be Delaney and DeCiani coming through as the hard shot from DeCiani should just about make the corner, but the 6 doesn't. Hits the wall, and now Hoytsman's back up into 4th. And here comes Roman as well, looking to take 5th place as well. This is all action. 10 laps to go, and we're just throwing haymakers.
Nicholas Roman now looks to make his way onto the podium here. He's been cutting to the field to be able to make his way back up here. Right now just waiting for a place to hop around. All over the back bumper of the 6. Gets checked up. Delaney not going to make this quite easy, you'd have to think here. Once Roman pushes the issue, a lot more reserved on the entries right now is the 95.
Yeah, just to go back to the point about grip, like if you need to back it down just to make sure you can get it around the track in one piece, I think that's a perfectly reasonable thing to do right now. You might be able to hold cars up, but as we've seen from Stone, as we've seen from some of the other drivers around this track, you can be a little bit off pace, have the cars catch up to you, but they are going to struggle to pass you. And if they're pushing too hard, trying to get away through, they're going to tag the wall. They're going to have issue after issue, and that is going to compound, and you will be faster over the length of this race. Delaney having another hard hit, trying not to let Roman through, but might be struggling to do so because Roman's picked the inside. Should roll off nicely here and take that position away.
He does, and now it switches back to DeCiani's run. Matt DeCiani also picks up a spot. Now Nolan Hodgson trying to get to the outside of the 6. Trying to make it stick through turn 1. But now the 6 is completely on the back foot here. Coming around to 8 to go next time by. Delaney just trying to hobble it home. We are less than 5 laps away too from passing that guaranteed caution window, or rather that potential caution window of 70%. It's not a guarantee, and we've seen this has gone all the way to the limit on that strategy window.
I don't even know what I would do. I don't even want to think about what would happen if a caution comes out at this point. That's going to really ruin people's day as Hoytsman goes around. I think that was the 6 of Delaney that gets him there. Car spins around, should at least be able to drive away, but I'm not sure how badly wounded it's going to be. That's going to be a ton of positions lost there from 97.
Look at Hoytsman loops it around, falls all the way back to where Derek Heitman is. Yeah, another spin. Just too much quick on corner apex off, it looked like. Yeah, locked it up for days and spun it.
Does a good job of not getting into anything there, but obviously a car parallel to the track is not going to be an easy thing for a lot of these drivers to avoid at short notice, and does get tagged in the rear. Will be able to drive off, but definitely a winged car. Like I was saying, you don't need to push that hard. If you're pushing too hard, that's going to be the end situation for Hoytsman as Alex Coffey given the next meatball. And it's just positions by attrition at this point, as that is a very ill-handling car. That left front, excuse me, not attached properly at all. I think that's going to have to be a tow for the 54. Is very, very slow lap indeed, and that is a huge hit. Oh my, and a second one to boot. Okay.
He had.
What? Okay, I just tow it at this point. Like, that is a huge risk for the cars around you. Just trying to get through the track. You've got no cornering power because one of your wheels is definitely non-functional at this point. But either way, 54 is going to try and limp it around, try and get it into pit road and do the best from there. But yeah, definitely a race ender at this point. Yeah, another huge hit.
Yeah, came back on the racetrack after some repairs a while ago. 7 laps down. That's going to be race toasted for Alex Coffey. All this is while Matthew Lawn, he looks to join in too on some of the movement to pass by the 6 again. Oh wow, Derek Heitman is currently still chasing the 97. Dylan Kritz also in this grouping too. Kritz trying to push hard to get up there, but he is laps down in 20th. Good recovery from Derek after a huge crash earlier.
Getting up to P10 after getting involved in the wars early on is definitely no small feat, but again, if you're not having the issues everyone else around you seems to be right now, so I don't want to say it's simple, but it certainly seems so from the outside. Just keep it clean, keep it simple, don't overstretch yourself. Stone might be 18 seconds behind Dyson right now, but he's still second place, and that's all the record book is going to show. Even if that front is very much carved in on the 57. You can see how bent it is. Presumably the performance isn't too bad overall, maybe down some top speed, but the tyres seem to be okay, so probably doing okay in the handling department there.
Yes. And it looks like we are going to come up to that window now, past the random point of caution. Lap 70 is underway for Dyson. No yellow flag came out. I mean, it was the 40% chance of it only having one non-stage caution tonight. So, look to battle it out, to finish out, coming up to 5 laps to go. Rollman, he's gained 4 seconds along with DeCiani for the podium.
It's easier said than done at this point. Those drivers have been in the walls a little bit. I think Rowan might have got the best of it overall in terms of he's been in the wall the least, but still a long way to go to get to the back of Pearson, who's been doing a pretty good job of keeping it clean himself. And obviously once you catch, you then need to make the passes. It's another huge hit there for DeCiani in that 4 car. I think the performance definitely going away for some of these drivers. This is the longest stint of the night. Overall, these cars being 22 laps on their tyres and still 6 to go, so definitely some woes in the performance field, but Dyson doesn't seem to be showing it right now. He's put out so many good laps time and time again. Has had to deal with traffic as well, but seems to be it's being pretty cordial to get through nice and easy. You can see though still full focus on that driver's face because he knows one mistake and it is all for nothing. It's a track that demands your full attention at all times or it will come back to bite you.
See how Dyson is keeping calm right now. He leads by almost 20 seconds. It's been a dominating third stretch through the race. This third stage has just been that way. American themed paint scheme on the back end tonight. It just looks solid as he checks on those intervals. Gonna be good on fuel, good on tires. Jonathan Delaney just picked up a black flag, and that's because he just spun out for 17 incident points.
And that is a damaged front right as well, so I think this is going to be a bit too deep trying to hold on to the position here. He's got Long in the rearview mirror. Might be too worried about moving backwards again, and is presumably he's going to try and get... Oh, the damage is already there, excuse me. It's definitely going to get too deep. Tags the apex of the corner, actually, and loops the car. 2x loss of... Oh, and a hard hit to the rear as well. Not a good day there, but... 6 definitely in trouble right now.
Well, she's been trying to survive all throughout this race. Seen that last week in terms of discussions, and well, the racetrack beat him. Couple our drivers still on track in the battle pack. These drivers are laps down. But give them credit, they've kept on chugging along. Decent point days for drivers like Hunter and Marty. As they go side by side, Marty takes the pass.
And this is like, even though they are down laps, this is still going to be a decent finish. They're currently running 16th and 17th, which is still a decent haul overall if you're down on pace. It's just, again, if you keep it clean, the race will come to you eventually, and though it might not be a top 10 pack that you might have wanted, you're still going to be doing fine overall. Hoytsma now has caught back up to the rear bumper of Long, wants that position straight back again, but again, it's going to be a challenging pass to make given the way Long's been doing a good job of just holding everyone off overall, and now with Hoytsma potentially having some handling woes after damage, Long might be able to hold on 7th. The laps are ticking down as well. Time is running out for these drivers. It'll be 3 to go when Dyson takes the line. So we've only got really 4 shots at turn 6 if you want it here for Hoytsma, and he's looking a bit far back to do it this time by.
This is one of the quickest races of the season, by the way. We just about are around the 2-hour mark so far tonight. This is the earliest I think we've been done by far in a race like this. That's how quickly we've gone through. My goodness. 2 hours, 7 minutes total on the air. By the way, Pearson has now found a way around Capstone while we weren't looking. That was just recent. So the 62 makes it a dirty South 1-2.
It's hard to argue with them right now. They've been... Some of the 41s look like the strongest car as Stone finally makes the mistake. That's been the catch-out point for all these drivers that were in the corks. Is that if you just get a little squirrely in at turn 10, that chasing car can just ship it up the inside and you really have no recourse at that point. 62, Neil Pearson, able to drive through, takes second place away. Like I said, 30 South 1-2 as it stands currently, and I don't see Stone having enough left in the tank to challenge that right now. I think this might be the running order at least for the podium, unless Roman can pull something out of his hat in the last few laps. Looking very convincing for our podium right now.
So, coming to 2 laps to go already in this one. A quick night being put together by a quick driver. 22 seconds now the margin for victory. Andrew Dyson's had it all going his way this evening. Just needs to keep it clean for about 4 more miles.
It's been a fantastic drive for Dyson. We barely had him on camera for a lot of this race just because there's nothing to really say. Dyson has drove off into the distance, played the pit strategy perfectly. I didn't think the fuel number, or at least the tyres, would play that well to him. Able to maintain the position through flipping the stage, and has just driven off into the distance. The best race is the one where you're able to pull away, the race doesn't focus on you at all, and you're just able to maintain position over the entirety of the race. Andrew Dyson, hats off to you, fully deserve this win. You just have to make sure you dot the I's, cross the T's. You still have a lap and change to go. Make sure you close this one out, because if you crash now, I'm going to look like an idiot, and I can't have that.
He hasn't had a mistake really all night. No one else around him at the moment either. So it's just him and the road to decide how this one goes. Coming around to the white flag this time by. Got up to the final time around here with the FLCC in Chicago. White flag is up in the air. 2.14 miles to go for Dyson.
And 22 seconds of buffer. This is an insane lead that he has right now. This is a victory lap if ever there was one. Just go on board with the 41. And this is going to be potentially the best feeling. There's always the slight terror that you're going to put a foot wrong with these laps, but when you're able to drive so consistently, I think Dyson knows, just has to stay locked in enough to make sure this one goes. He'll be fully aware of the situation around him. No lap traffic appears to be in front of him for the time being, so able to enjoy this one, yeah. What more can you say at this point? Hoytsma under pressure though. As Long looking down the inside, trying to take that one back. They've been close together for a while now. Hoytsma just about avoids the wall, has the inside set for the next corner. Gets quite deep on the brakes, able to slide just about in front of the 28, gives the lane, but does have the position. Meanwhile, Dyson, your leader, still coming through. Now 3, make it 2 turns to go, and it will be the checkered flag for the 41.
Another night on a road course, another dominating day for the 41. Andrew Dyson gets ready to celebrate. He looks to drift it around to the checker flag. Andrew Dyson wins in Chicago.
Definitely having a little bit of fun at the end there. I thought he lost the car second time around. Okay, it definitely was intentional, but a phenomenal drive. What more could you say at this point? When you have a 23-second lead to someone in your team who's probably running a very similar setup, if not identical, it has to feel damn good. Pearson will eventually bring it home in P2, with Stone closing out for P3 to round out the podium.
Nicholas Roman not able to close up the 4-second gap. Then it's DeZiani, Hodgson, the top 6. Heitman trying to use the bumper on Lawn. This is for 8th. Couldn't make the move. Lawn holds on to that spot. Sean O'Brien Jr., believe, may hold on to a top 10. Yes, he's going around a minute and 6 seconds behind, but he still survives to be able to get another top 10 in the FLCC this season.
Honestly, a lot of these drivers just manage to call around when, even if they've got fairly beaten, banged up cars, they've never had any major incidents enough to take them out of contention for the race. Or some of them may be thinking what they could have had overall. I don't think any of them had anything to challenge the 41, who is now just showing off and doing full drifts around the streets of Chicago. Andrew Dyson, what can't this man do at this point?
An absolutely dominant run. He is having a blast. Conversations over radio. And he does the SVG, burns it all over the racetrack, and now looks to celebrate a victory. Dominating race for Andrew Dyson. He joins the 3-win club. He's the second to join that club in 2025. Post-race coverage coming up. You're watching Maconi Entertainment for coverage of the full-length Cup Challenge.
And just to prove how much is left in the car at this point, I think Andrew Dyson is...
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back to Maconi Entertainment for tonight's coverage of the FLCC after a wild night here from Chicago. Andrew Dyson gets the win by 24 seconds over Neil Pearson, Cam Stone, Nicholas Roman, Matt DiCiani, the top 5. Hodgson, Hoytsma, Lawn, Heitman, and O'Brien Jr. all get top 10s. Love it goes to go ahead.
Adam Benefield gets it home in 11th. Jonathan Delaney, Alex Murray, Bobby Anderson, Jacob Simpson, your top 15. Simpson, the first car lap down, joined by Tanner Martin. Tyler Hunter ends up 4 laps down with Thomas Kulmasensky for company. Dylan Kritz and Stoney Benefield 5 and 6 down respectively.
Komacheski was the name you're referring to in 18.
Yeah.
Coffey, Miller, Hoffman, Princeton, Hastings, Brickley, Truell, Gossett, Llewellyn, Owens, a part of a big DNF list tonight, Alice.
And the names keep on coming, unfortunately. Strick, Williams, Jones, Hutchinson, McDonald, Hoytsma, Hill, Galota, Sana, and Mesner the first to fall in the race. All at least 50 laps off the leader, who again, Andrew Dyson, excuse me. Fantastic race, but a lot of attrition for everyone else.
That's what we talked about the running order here tonight, here from Chicago. Our top 3 are already standing by. Andrew Dyson comes away with a race win here tonight. Andrew, first of all, how does it feel to be a part of the 3-win club in a dominating effort?
Yeah, it's pretty good, man. It's pretty good. It's good to be up there with Delaney. It's good to get some stage points, stage wins, or a stage win, and some good stage points. Pretty happy about it. All the boys are pretty happy with their results tonight. You know, Matt came home top 10. Bobby kept it clean, and obviously Neil coming P2, so pretty happy with that. I ran a couple laps earlier this week and with my own sort of setup, and man, this thing was like an absolute pogo stick, and I was a bit worried about how it was going to go. I mean, I knew I was going to have a good shot, but I was a bit worried about how it was going to go with all the bumps and how inconsistent it could be. But I plugged in the Rocco setup probably Wednesday, Thursday or so, and it was just way better. And they'd done a great job with getting this thing to ride the bumps as best as possible, and that definitely made it a lot easier today.
So, for you at least, what makes the road courses so natural? Because everybody's expectation was, well, what we've seen in stage 3. What makes this track such a natural fit for you, in your opinion?
Well, I love Chicago, and I love all the street courses. They're a lot of fun. I don't think that's the whole story, though. Like, most of the sim racing I've done has always been road course stuff, say, with supercars, GT3, things like that. And the oval stuff was sort of something I picked up a bit later, probably the last 3-4 years or so. So, although that stuff kind of comes to me a bit second, and I'm slowly learning with it and getting better all the time, I think this road course stuff is sort of the thing that's sort of like my bread and butter. So, it's something that I've always spent a lot of time doing, and so getting into it, practice methods and things like that comes to you pretty easily when you've done it quite a lot.
Sonoma's up next. Do you think he can do it again in terms of this dominating performance? What's the expectation in terms of the interval?
I think I've always got a shot. I don't ever expect anything. I like to come out and try and look at it from the perspective of definitely having a good shot. But I know that there's quite a few dudes that are very good. So, if I can get on top of those guys and get out the front, get the clean air, I think that'll give me a good shot.
Any shot you'd like to give here tonight?
Yeah, for sure, man. Just all the boys at Dirty South. Neil, Bobby, Jim even wasn't here tonight. He raced with us last night. And Matt, of course, Matt Long, can't forget him. Thanks for all the work and all the chats and all the good stuff we do. And all the guys who came out to race tonight. 40 cars is a lot of cars at Chicago. Not a favourite of a lot of folks, so appreciate all those guys.
Congratulations on the win, and good job on the burnout once again, Andrew.
Thanks, guys.
Andrew Dyson coming away with the win tonight. Cam Stone, what came in third? We'll talk. Neil Pearson, the teammate to Andrew Dyson, did finish at second. He's with Alice.
Well, Pearson, it has been a much more fun race for you than your teammate, having to come through the field twice at the end of stage 2 and 3 there. How's the race for you overall?
Overall, it was good. It was good fun. I mean, I do not normally go well at this track, so I'm very happy to have the race that I did come through, and just a nice solid race and really good points. Especially every stage second. That's with Andrew Dyson in the race. I mean, that's the best I could have done.
How's it feel coming through the field like that? Because obviously you had a lot of cars around you, and there was a lot of dust being kicked up from people hitting the concrete.
It was hard coming through the field, especially in that final stint. Those guys were fast, and I really tried to focus on just saving my fronts and just not getting them hot. And I think, at the very start when I was running 7th, and I think that helped me a lot towards the end of the race. And I was able to, like the other guys started making mistakes because I was just pushing harder and harder. And, I just had the tire on the car, kept them a bit cooler. And, I think it was just that got me up all the way up through everyone.
Obviously, a bit of damage on the car, you can see here in the replay. Does that really affect the balance of the car overall? You're still in protect the front mode no matter what happens?
It wasn't the best, but I mean, most of that damage, because I had a bit of damage in stage 1, so I fixed that. And then I think it all came back in stage 3 when I was battling Cam Stone in the last 10 laps. I got him past in, he made a little error in 10, 11, and I got him down into 12. And then I just absolutely made a mess of the braking into 12, and the car just didn't stop, and I went straight into that outside wall, which, got him back in front of me, and it messed it up a little bit, but it was still drivable, thankfully.
Fair enough. Well, it's been a good race from you overall, finishing second. Anything you want to say to the fans at home?
Yeah, just want to thank you guys for the broadcast, Bobby and everyone else who puts all the effort into the league. Bobby, Bryson, Jason, it's an awesome league. Racing these guys is a lot of fun. Kratz Daiso on the domination, and Cam Stone on the really great race there. That was good fun at the end.
Yep. Congratulations once again, Neil Pearson, second place.
Once again, Neil Pearson coming away in the second spot. Cam Stone gets another podium. How are you feeling, Cam, after surviving a road course?
I'm tired, to be honest. I'm pretty sweaty. My left leg hurts. I feel like I need a nap. I mean, it was real. It wasn't fun, so it definitely wasn't real fun. I'm gonna tell you what, trying to race what's basically a V8 supercar around the streets of Chicago against a couple of Australians. That's not something I had on my life bingo card, and it's very difficult. These dudes are used to this kind of thing. I'm used to going in circles to the left. So just proud to be the top finishing American tonight. Shout out to America, 4th of July weekend. But yeah, them Aussies are tough, dude.
Overall, now what's kind of the mindset now, knowing you've got momentum rolling? You've had a couple podiums now in the past few weeks. What's that feeling like, knowing you've been able to string together some good finishes as of late, to be able to speak with us?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, especially this week, was that I just put a lot more time into it. The only other time I've raced this car on this track, I didn't practice and I wrecked early. So I wanted to get as many laps as I could this week to prepare myself, and that seemed to work out pretty good. So next week we got to go left and right again. A track I'm more familiar with at Sonoma, but I really just got to put the time towards it, because the guys that are out here running up front every week, they're racing all week and practicing and tweaking setups all week long. So you got to put in the time if you want to get the results. So that's the biggest thing I got to do, but just feels real good to know that I still got it when I do put the effort in.
Sonoma's up next. Your thoughts on Sonoma?
I like Sonoma a lot better than this track. There are places on that track where if you get in a bad spot and brake a little too late, you don't absolutely kill a concrete barrier. So there's a little bit of runoff out there. Sonoma's been on the Cup schedule for 5 ever, and I've been racing virtual cars on it since I was like 6 years old. So Sonoma's one of my favorites. I think Watkins Glen's probably my favorite road course. It's a little bit more flowy. But I do kind of like the technical stuff just with a little bit of runoff. So Sonoma will be fun.
Any shout you'd like to give here tonight?
Yeah, shout out to my teammates. Adam, he was pretty quick. He was running pretty good, and then I'm not sure what happened to him around stage 2 or 3, but Hastings, he had a great run last night in the Xfinity car. Not so much tonight, but shout out to him for being here. Dustin, he was a coward and went and hung out with you guys, I guess. So I hope he had fun. Shout out to TCSP, Michael Conti, Nick Ottinger, those guys putting out sets every week. Appreciate all the work that those guys do. Shout out to Bobby, shout out to Bryson, shout out to Jason, all our race control guys. Shout out to my wife. She was very nice to me this week. It gave me a lot of time to come down here and practice. So look, honey, when I practice, I do better. So hopefully you let me practice some more. Shout out to Uncle Conrad. I know he's in the chat. Appreciate him. Aunt Megan, Mom, Dad, anybody else that's watching, supporting me. Appreciate all you guys. Shout out to my Make Believe sponsors, Zen, Coors Light. Got a Coors Light now. Appreciate y'all. Hope you guys log off and have a Coors Light tonight as well. Appreciate y'all up there in the booth. Shout out to God. Shout out to Dale. Shout out to America. July 4th, 1776. Let's go.
Congratulations on the podium here, Cam.
Thanks, bud.
Cam Stone rounds out the top 3. I think the entire top 3 for speaking with us here for post-race coverage here on Maconi Entertainment. Next up on the schedule is Sonoma. That'll be on July 12th at 8:25 p.m. Eastern Time start. Be sure to tune in here for the FLCC. And your thoughts on tonight, Alice, as we get ready to go left and right again at Sonoma.
I think a lot of these drivers are going to be thankful that the concrete barriers aren't too tight around Sonoma, but there's still going to be plenty of places where you can get very aggressive with people, and the results might not end up as bad, but they're still going to be bad for some drivers. So I'm expecting some close quarters racing and a few upset tempers come the end of that race.
Once again, July the 12th is the date for that one at Sonoma. But it's time to say goodbye for everybody here tonight. Thank you once again for tuning in for tonight's coverage of the Full Length Cup Challenge. Calling the action tonight was myself, Justin Prince. Alongside the booth was Alice Davison with DJ Lion producing. Thanks to all our viewers for watching tonight's racing action. Please stay tuned to our social media pages for our next race. Thanks to the entire staff for their work in bringing this racing to you. This has been a production of Maconi Entertainment. We'll see you next time.
Be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.